A global credit rating agency has recently said that Dubai market is going to drop by 15% in 2026 and so forth onwards. When I read this news, initially I ignored it because it was not based on fundamentals, it was based on very superficial theoretical manner. However, over the course of next 2 weeks, I started to realize that whenever I was having a conversation with any buyer who was active with me to make a purchase, they started to refer back to this news. And when I started to realize the impact of this news, I went and I started to analyze the data points to understand that what is the fundamental foundation of this news. So instead of reacting to the headline, when I went and I look at the data points, I started to realize that it was a very superficial analysis. Maybe it was based on an agenda or to develop an opinion about this real estate market. However, the data points, they speak completely otherwise. The first part is if we look at the historical handovers of the properties. Between 2021 and 2024, Dubai has handed over approximately 31,000 to 38,000 new properties every year. This year, 2025, the anticipation of handover was around 76,000 new units. However, while I'm talking to you in June, until today, we have approximately handed over only 20,000 units, which is 26% of the projected supply or the projected handover. Now, it is impossible for every construction project to hand over on time. And this is something that I'm giving you with an experience of over a decade where I'm directly involved in this. Construction is such an unpredictable thing where every project to hand over on time, it is a complete theoretical thing. Practically, it is impossible. And why it is impossible? Because of these things. If you look at from 2021 onwards, the launches of new projects, but we still have the shortage of contractors, we have shortage of laborers and the supply chain constraints. These are some of the things that can always cause a delay in the project from 6 months to 1 year. That's only on the contractor and construction front. Now, if we look at the government and regulatory framework, there are regulatory bodies that without their approval, project cannot be declared as a livable project. So it starts from Dubai Municipality, Tarakhis, Dubai Development Authority, we have DIWA, we have RTA approvals, we have Etisalat approvals, and most important, we have DCD, the Civil Defense approvals. All these approvals are mandatory for the building to or the project to be declared livable, and then you can start handing over the project. Whenever you are talking about oversupply, I always say this to my team and to my clients: never talk about oversupply in a generic perspective. You should always go down and look at the classification, whether there is an oversupply in a certain segment, there's oversupply in a certain community. Without understanding that, you will always make your opinion on general perception rather than the real data points. Communities which have seen the most number of launches recently, we have JVC, we have Business Bay, we have Damac Lagoons in the townhouse segment. These communities, yes, they have a lot of launches coming up. However, they also have the highest absorption rate because they're all in the affordable segment of the market. And affordable segment is currently the big segment in the market. Initially, if you look at the historical perspective, when Damac was handed over, Jumeirah Golf Estates was handed over, these communities were initially doubted. But if you go today and have a look at them, they have really doubled in the value over the period of years. The next part is the tokenization. Recently, Dubai Land Department has issued the first tokenized title deed. In fact, the second has also been issued. Now, tokenization is going to bring bigger pool of people who are going to be real estate owners in the market. These are the people who neither qualify for mortgage or they don't have $1 million dirhams, but they have saved up 50 or 100,000 dirhams. So rather than owning the full piece of pie, they will take like a percentage, like 10% of that piece of real estate. So when tokenization will become a norm, and when tokenization came in, I really still hear naysayers. These are the very same naysayers who used to talk about Golden Visa in 2018 and 17 when the Golden Visa initiative was started. Initially, they used to comment the same way about the Golden Visa. But look at today. If you go to Tariq Center, you would see a queue of people waiting to get their golden visa. So tokenization is actually going to bring more buyers into the real estate market, and currently it's a pilot project with only one company providing this service. There will be more companies coming in offering better properties, better value for money, and then lower management cost, increasing the yield for the end user, subsequently bringing in more buyers into this segment. It's just a matter of time. So tokenization is also going to help a lot of people to become real estate owners. So the next part is the government. We were discussing only about the construction and the handover and the planned or the launched and handover units. But if we look at the other part of the equation, which is the population segment of it, Dubai population is surging. Dubai population is currently at approximately 3.94 million, with an average of 200,000 individuals adding yearly. With an average family size of 5, the current supply is not sufficient to cater the demand that we have on year basis. You can also analyze the population aspect by looking at the admissions in the school. There is 6% increase in the school intake. However, there is a 40% increase in the applications, which means there are 5 applications for one intake. This alone is sufficient to tell you the increase in population, but not only individual population, it's the families that are moving in Dubai. So these families be looking for bigger properties, they have kids to go to school, so all these things will add up and it will absorb the current supply. So when the clients or anyone comes and say that the market will drop by 15%, honestly, these were the very same people. If they would have known that the market is going to jump after COVID, they would have sold everything they own to buy a piece of real estate. They are just assuming based on a piece of news. And I learned this from a very successful businessman and an investor of mine. He always used to say this to me. He said, Salik, if the source of your information is newspaper and you're making your decisions based on that source, the likelihood of your success is very low. So to all my clients, to investors, to my agent colleagues, see the newspaper. I'm not saying don't, because these newspapers are there to create an opinion in the market. However, you always have to look in detail. While Europe and US are tightening the regulations and taxes, Dubai is becoming a safe haven. No income tax, no inheritance tax, no capital gain tax, high safety and security, world-class infrastructure, whether it is education, healthcare, or transportation. All these things are sufficient enough for people to come and buy in the city, because now Dubai has reached a point where we don't have to sell the city. The city is a brand and it's selling itself. All these things are sufficient enough for people to come and buy and live in the city and call the city as their home. Many people ask me this question, that why Dubai? What is the lifestyle that Dubai offers? And I answer this question in one single line. Security in today's world is the ultimate lifestyle. Dubai is the #1 property market in the world. And if you want to be a part of it, I can assure you, next 2 to 3 years are going to be very interesting. If you want to invest in Dubai's market, or if you want to know more about this market, I'll be more than happy to help you.